Video games. We all know them and a lot of you probably like them. It's from playing them every day to just playing them every now and again. You've probably played them or at least heard of them. But today we're going to be talking about if they are addictive or not. I will also be telling you about the pros and cons of gaming and how to know if you're addicted. So we can determine if video games are truly as addictive as people make them out to be, or if people just make them seem much worse than they really are. An addiction is when a person cannot control how much of something they do, like a behavior or substance. Example, from what I've heard, when you smoke, you can't stop because when you smoke, you have a nice experience, and then because of that nice experience or hyperarousal, the reward center of your brain releases a hormone called dopamine in response to said good experience. Your brain will now associate it with that experience, and your body will then want to repeat that activity again and again and again, which leads to an addiction. But yeah, well, you don't exactly want to get an addiction because the negatives will go over shortly. Alright, now let's start off with the cons. First of all, we got elevated risk of aggressive behavior. They also replace real-world problems. You also might game too much and not have enough time to study or do your homework, which means you have to catch up at recess or free period. There's also promotion of gambling in certain games, usually in the form of loot boxes and chests that you only have a chance to get what you want. There's also risks of decreased physical health because you don't exercise as much, if at all, decreased mental health because you just game and do nothing else, and last but not least, lack of focus and concentration because all you can think about is video games. Alright, now let's talk about the pros. According to the researchers from Rockstar University, video games actually boost troubleshooting. The Pittsburgh University found that because of video games having players in command, it hones their abilities to resolve disrupts, interact with other players, and make difficult decisions. Pulaski University has stated that video games are a good tool to learn languages because of online chat, storytelling, and on-screen instructions. The California organization has stated that multiplayer video games can improve teamwork and problem solving, and they simulate focus, visual, memory, and creativity. They simulate these aspects by setting goals that require concentration, imagination, and remembering details to achieve them. The Pittsburgh University found that they enhance critical thinking because of the fact that video games have players in command, honing their abilities to resolve disrupts, interact with other players, and make difficult decisions. The Monetary Institution of Technology has also released an article about games' ability to make players think and enhance their critical thinking. Alright, now here are some of the symptoms of video game addictions. Having strong urges to play video games, your thoughts being blocked and overrun by video games, spending more money than you can afford on video games, not doing as many social events and activities because you'd rather just be playing more video games, playing lots of video games even though it's causing lots of problems in your life, like doing poorly in school and not completing your homework, lying to other people about how much screen time you do every day, needing more screen time to gain the same amount of enjoyment that you used to get, completely neglecting your appearance. So yeah, as you can see, you don't exactly want to get addicted, but if you do get addicted, the only things I can recommend doing are removing devices from bedroom and setting a limit on how much time you can play in one day, and trying other activities until you find a new hobby. Although there are some benefits of video games, if you manage to get addicted, the cons will very easily outweigh the pros if you aren't careful. So yes, video games are in fact addictive. Not the worst addiction, but they're still bad and something you should be careful of if you're playing a lot of video games. Now I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.